At the end of the day, there's only two types of people. People who don't diversify and people who think they diversify. And honestly, you want to stay away from the first guy because that guy's crazy. But all joking aside, maybe you've heard gurus say that diversifying is a boatload of nonsense, and there is some truth to that. But at the end of the day, if that was the case, then why do people like Warren Buffett or Michael Burry and other big shot investors, why are they all diversified? Well, that's what we're gonna be talking about today, and I'm gonna share with you something that no guru has probably ever even talked about before, and that is the different levels of diversification. Let's talk about the 5 levels of diversification that you need to know about. As we go through this, the levels are gonna get deeper and deeper and deeper. So the first one on our list is just picking an investment type. So this could be stocks, bonds, crypto. Those are the asset classes, right? That's the first level. And for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna go with stocks to keep it simple. And within this first layer, let's say we pick tech stocks in particular. And typically with that tech stock, you're pretty much stuck with whatever sector that they're in, unless you invest into some really big firms like Google, Apple, Tesla, maybe Nvidia, companies that are a little bit more diversified into different sectors. The other way that you can diversify is just buying an ETF that maybe has a bunch of different tech stocks within it. And that means you're diversified in the tech sector. And that leads me into level number 2, which is diversifying into a broad spectrum of industries. This can be classified like with the SPY or the VOO or VWO. All of those ticker symbols are broad spectrum ETFs that typically have a bunch of different types of stocks within it in different sectors. So that is level 2, and this is typically as far as people go when it comes to diversification. And level 3 is something that doesn't really get talked about, and that's because it's a little bit of a trickier subject. But let me tell you what it is, and then I'll explain it a little bit further. Level 3 diversification is something called B2B and B2C. If you're not familiar with those terms, don't worry. B2B just means it's a business to business type of company, and B2C is a business to consumer type of company. And some companies do just B2B. Palantir is a great example of that. And other companies just do B2C. Walmart would be considered a really good B2C company, but they also do a little bit of business in the B2B sector as well. But mainly, that's their business model. And other companies like Google, for example, do a lot of B2B and B2C. Why is it important to have companies in your portfolio that are B2B and other companies that are B2C or both? Why is it so important to diversify across the board? Well, the economy, as you probably already know, has its eves and flows. Essentially, it's just a really big roller coaster of cash changing hands between consumers and businesses and back and forth. A good example of this is when the pandemic happened and a lot of money got printed by the US government and was handed out to its citizens. A lot of that money at first ended up in the consumers' pockets, and a lot of the manufacturers around the country had shut down business and they were losing money left and right. And what happened as a result is all these consumers eventually had to spend their money, and that money ended up back in the big business hands. So if you were investing in B2C companies at the time of the pandemic, you would have done better than if you were investing into B2B companies. And again, this is just one example. There are plenty of times in history when the consumer had more money and other times when the business had more money to spend frivolously because of GDP growth and other external factors. Hopefully I explained that well enough. And if you have any questions moving forward, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below, and I'm happy to answer them as we move forward to level 4. And level number 4 is a simple one to understand and grasp, and that is international investing. What do I mean by that? Well, different economies around the world are gonna perform in different ways. Right now, it is believed that Africa is one of the fastest growing tech economies in the world today. For years and years and years, it was believed that China was gonna have the fastest growth, and they did. And alongside China, America has performed exceptionally well also. And a key thing to remember here is that certain economies are going to do better than others over different stretches of time based off of economic policies, how taxes are done on their soil, and the type of technologies that are in their country. I believe that the next technological wave is cryptocurrencies and blockchain tech. So whatever countries decide to adopt that tech first are ones that are likely poised for success in the long distant future. And having a diversified portfolio that has a bunch of different stocks in a variety of countries that you think are gonna do well in the long term based off of analysis, well, you are more likely to strike gold when a humongous boom in a certain economy ends up coming to fruition. Remember that these ups and downs in different economies has been happening over the last 10, 20, 30, even hundreds, if not thousands of years. It's happened all throughout history and will continue to happen as long as time exists. Whew. Okay, we made it through levels 1 through 4, and now you might be wondering, I think I got it all. How is there even a level 5? What is level 5, right? Well, level 5 is a trickier one to master because it requires more capital and is not available for every single type of business. Let me explain. What level 5 diversification looks like is investing in an actual business versus just buying their stock or an ETF. So for example, if you wanted to buy McDonald's or Starbucks stock or another fast food type company, well, level 5 diversification would mean not just buying those stocks, but more specifically, franchising out that business or starting your own version of that industry, whatever you're trying to invest in. Now, obviously for some businesses, you can franchise out and others you can't, and you have to actually build a business and be direct competition with the companies that you'd probably invest in. So that is why level 5 is the most complicated but also the most rewarding type of diversification that is out there. Another example would be if you wanted to be in the car rental business or maybe in the hotel business, you could do something like Turo for the car rental business or Airbnb for the hotel model. Or maybe you wanted to do retail. Well, there's a million options for you. Amazon FBA, you can sell on eBay, you can start your own Etsy store, you can start a Shopify. And now you know that there are so many different types of ways to diversify that you shouldn't just get boggled down to one or two of these categories, and you should really try to explore other ways to diversify your portfolio. So hopefully you learned a lot in today's video. If you did and you want to share this with a friend, please do. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. It really helps out my channel as well. And if it's your first time to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.